Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to be going through a really important concept, strategy, whatever you want to call it, that is especially useful for PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, and these fantasy sports platforms that don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. And the concept is called correlation. And I know that sounds like a big word and we could make this super mathematical, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to go through the high level concept of correlation and how you can use correlation to make more money on PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, Parlay Play, and these other DFS sites. So let's get into it. Yo, so real quick, I wanted to explain why correlation is really valuable on PrizePicks, but not as much so traditional sportsbooks like FanDuel. Is if you take a look at FanDuel, if I just create a little two-pick same-game parlay, the Athletics to win, and Rodriguez over 4.5 strikeouts, you're going to see this parlay is plus 489 odds. So betting 100 to win roughly 489 in profit. So you're probably thinking like, okay, the odds on Rodriguez's over and his under are roughly the same. So FanDuel probably has a pretty similar payout if I switch Rodriguez to an under. But you're going to notice that's not the case. The odds change drastically to plus 355. So now you're only betting 100 to win 355 in profit. So long story short, sportsbooks like FanDuel, traditional sportsbooks, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, they already have models that price in correlation. So if I switch Rodriguez from an over to an under, they're changing the payout in a big way to price in correlation, whereas that's not the case on PrizePicks. So on PrizePicks, if I change Rodriguez from an over to an under, you're going to see I'm always getting this little 3x payout. This is a fixed payout platform. Doesn't matter if you take overs or unders, you're always getting a 3x payout. So PrizePicks doesn't account for correlation, which is why we can use it to our advantage, right? On traditional sportsbooks, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, they already price in correlation, so it's harder to use it to your advantage. Whereas on PrizePicks, they don't price in correlation, so it's easier for us to use it to our advantage. So correlation just means outcomes that are likely to occur together. And I know that can be a little confusing. So here's an example is let's say you want to bet on Patrick Mahomes, his over in passing touchdowns for the season. You think he's going to have a great season. Well, then it probably makes sense to take Travis Kelce over in receiving touchdowns, right? If Mahomes has a great season and throws for 50 passing touchdowns, Travis Kelce's his main target, so Travis Kelce probably went over his receiving touchdown line. So it makes sense to take both players over together or under together, right? If you want to take Mahomes' under, then it makes sense to take Kelce's under. What would make no sense whatsoever is taking Mahomes to go over in passing touchdowns and Kelce to go under in receiving touchdowns. Those would be negatively correlated, and that's not what you want on PrizePicks. On PrizePicks, on Underdog Fantasy, you want to look for positive correlation, right? So Mahomes over, Travis Kelce over, Joe Burrow over, Jamar Chase over. You want to take outcomes that are likely to occur together. So at least for me personally, I learn a lot by looking at examples. So I figured I'd just go through some examples of plays I went with on PrizePicks and kind of explain the reasoning. So you can see this $5,000 PrizePicks slip right here. And my first two picks are Kryzy and White, both to go under. Now you're going to notice they're on the same team, right? And in League of Legends, in esports, if one player goes under, then his teammate is more likely to go under. So it's beneficial to take both players' unders together, which is exactly what I did here. So this probably isn't surprising, but taking two players from the same team in esports to go over together is also positively correlated. So you can see nothing in Rahab, two players from the same team. I took them both to go over. That is positively correlated. So I could go through examples all day long, but maybe just a few more. Christian Kirk under in receiving yards, Trevor Lawrence under in passing yards. Those are positively correlated, right? Christian Kirk is one of Trevor Lawrence's main targets. So if Trevor Lawrence has a bad season, Christian Kirk is probably not getting as many receiving yards. And then it's the same thing for Tua and Jalen Waddle. So long story short, I don't want this video to drag on forever, but when you're playing on PrizePicks, because this is a fixed payout platform, same thing with Underdog Fantasy, is keep in mind positive correlation if you're taking players on the same team or also opposing teams, right? So hopefully you found this video helpful. I'll include my email in the description, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Let's make some money.